everyone, I'm Tracy Pattin, and this is Sizzlecaster.com. Turn your passion into your personal brand. And I have a great personal brand with me today. Hello there, Bob Bergen.
Hey, what's going on Tracy?
Have you guys heard that voice before? Mm-hmm. Porky Pig. So
yes, but thanks to Jenny Craig, look at me now.
They
don't really care. It's a voiceover. They don't care what you look like.
Yeah, you don't
I
have
didn't shave today.
Look, it's perfect. So we're going to talk, everybody, about the voiceover personal brand. So good to have you
Thank
here.
you.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
We're in a studio, by the way. Bob's about to teach a class at Voice Tracks in LA, in Studio City. So I know you're not officially Porky Pig, the brand, but he's part of your personal brand.
Well,
right?
it certainly is. You know, I've been doing it for 20 years, and I absolutely use the idea of I'm doing the voice of Porky Pig as a part of my, corporation brand.
Okay.
Voice actors have to have a brand. Every actor has to have a brand, but we're talking voiceover right now.
And every entrepreneur, and essentially you are an entrepreneur.
Sure.
Even though you're a performer, you're an entrepreneur.
I think if a voiceover actor thinks of themselves as the CEO of a corporation that is their talent, well, if you look at any corporation, they have a brand. And they'll spend millions of dollars on publicists and advertising agencies to not just get the brand out there, but to define the brand. And I think a lot of actors don't do that, and especially voiceover actors. They just go, I'll make a good demo and hope to get work.
Exactly. And you know what? As just talking to you, I realize how much this does connect for all of you that are trying to figure out your own personal brand, because we talk a lot about how important your personality, who you are, as being part of your personal brand, whether you're selling sponges or you want to change the world with your message, or you're a top voice actor, animation voice actor, would be how you would brand yourself. Is that right?
Well, I would brand it's interesting. People ask me all the time, well, do you still need a demo? Do you still audition? And the answer is, my demo, I don't have to put on newer stuff for people I've worked for because they know it.
They know you.
But
right.
There's a lot of people, more that I haven't worked with out there than have. Because, studios, producers, there's new executives, new executive producers popping up all the time. So
Yeah.
I have to treat my brand as if it's brand new. So like everybody else pursuing this business, I have got to put my brand out there and try to get in the faces of the buyers, just like beginning people.
And that's the same for entrepreneurs who have another kind of business. I mean, even though we're talking about performing, that's still the buyer component.
Mm-hmm.
Your buyers are whoever wants to buy your product or hear your message or hire you to speak, is the same thing.
Absolutely. I'll tell you something interesting. My agent in New York asked me if I would take, I used to have Porky Pig on the signature of my emails, asked me to take that off. And I said, why? And he was very nervous and hesitant to ask me because I think he thought he's going to bruise my ego, but my mortgage payment is a lot bigger than my ego. He said, I don't need to sell you as the voice of Porky Pig. Everybody knows you do that. But if Chiat Day needs the voice of Bounty, and I send them to your website or anything about you, and they see cartoons, they're going, we don't want a stuttering announcer for this. So it got in the way of my brand to put Porky's brand, and it makes perfect sense. So it's an experiment, but I removed it so it doesn't get in the way of Bob's brand.
Okay, and let's talk a minute about that.
Okay.
What is Bob Bergen, the brand? How would you and how did you develop the brand?
Well, usually what I tell my students, even though I teach animation, we cover all aspects. Tonight we're going to discuss, this is what we're discussing tonight in class, is marketing and branding. Usually I tell people, ask your friends or your family to describe you. Give me adjectives. And that's your brand. Because,
Yes.
A Lincoln Town car is luxurious. A Kia, not so much. Dove soap, Camay soap is luxurious. It's moisturizing. And then there's Zest, which is a whole different brand. So you have a brand, I have a brand. You tell me, what's my brand? You've heard my demos.
Well, when I think of you as a brand, now again, we're making this relatable for the non-actor, because it's all branding personal branding is personal branding.
No matter what you do.
Exactly. So when I think of you, knowing you as a personal brand, automatically animation
Mm-hmm.
and automatically Porky Pig. Again, I know that you can't claim that brand per se.
My personality, my personality as it would relate to commercials.
Yeah, I would say very upbeat,
Mm-hmm.
very commercial. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
could do that. You're not a promo guy. You're not in a world the Don LaFontaine
It's sometimes
guy,
it's
but maybe you
sometimes
could be.
that it's sometimes easier to learn or know your brand by starting with what you aren't.
Okay, there you go. Starting with what you are not.
Right. So I know I'm not in a world as much as I would like to. I'm waiting for puberty. Puberty hasn't happened yet. I know I'm not upscale. When it comes to commercials, I'm conversational, real, 25 to 35, guy next door, young dad. I'm not the stuffy corporate, over the top expensive sort of sound. It's not me. When it comes to doing a commercial demo, I tell people go through magazines and find the magazines you like.
Interesting. You know how this is so interesting because I've written a lot about this in general for branding, for personal branding. And I think one of the things I've told people I've written about is to go out and do your own personal market research in your world, in your, as Rudy Gaskin said a couple of weeks ago, and he's a corporate branding guy, your sphere of influence.
Mm-hmm.
So the people in your world that you know and asking them how they perceive you. So whether it's voiceover like you're talking about, or just getting a sense of who we are.
Right.
And
right.
you have to do that as a voice actor probably more than the average entrepreneur. You have to really look at that. And that thing that you are, that presence that you are to sell yourself.
You know, you just graduated from college, you want to go out into the corporate world, and you're just one of millions doing the same thing. What makes you stand out amongst every other kid doing the same thing? You got to have a brand.
Exactly.
From the minute you go on that pavement, no matter whether you're acting or you want to go into law, accounting,
Yeah.
you need to have a personal brand. A lot of it is just a lot of confidence and self-esteem.
You know what? I think what we're going to do, Bob, I have a lot more questions for you, many more questions. And we are going to talk about that in part 2. Let's talk about how you built your personal brand, how to build a personal brand, and maybe hear a few of Bob's amazing voices. So stay tuned for part 2, everyone. I'm Tracy Pattin. This is sizzlecaster.com with Bob Bergen, the wonderful animation voiceover talent, and much more. We'll see you in a bit.